Hi guys, this is Tashina. I'm going to be doing my forms of energy comprehensible input. Since no one else has posted theirs yet, I'm just kind of winging this a little bit, so bear with me, but I'm glad to hear all of your feedback and help me through this because that would be great. Really appreciate it. Okay, here we go. Alright, forms of energy comprehensible input. So first the students are going to be doing word study books, okay? And this is kind of hard to put on the PowerPoint, but I'm going to do my best to describe how this would go. So before they do the word study books, as an instructor, you're going to have them pre-done with the pages numbered for the table of contents, so they don't have to do that, and they're all like glued together or stapled together, whichever you'd like. Break the students up into 4 groups, and then they're going to have 5 minutes to create their title page. By creating your title page, you guys can draw whatever you'd like on top of those. Make sure your name is on there and that the title is on there as well, Forms of Energy. Then after the 5 minutes is up, and if you are also looking at my lesson plan, it says set a timer for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes is up, you will then pass out to the groups that they are in 2 vocabulary words. I would prefer you'd probably have those on index cards or something of that. After you pass out those vocabulary words, make sure they go ahead and find which page on the table of contents their vocabulary word goes to. So as you can see here, here's the table of contents. So class, if we're looking for the word energy, which page would that go on? Then you could point to the screen, energy, take your finger and go all the way across the screen. I don't know where my cursor is. Yeah, so you could go energy, point to it, and go all the way across the screen, and then they're going to say page 1. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and after you guys figure out what page that they go on, you're going to use resources to research the definitions for your energies. This is the hard part that I couldn't put on the PowerPoint, but I'm going to do my best to describe it, and it's in my lesson as well. So now once you found the page your words are on, use the words to define and use resources to research those words. So on the DotCam, what you could do is, for the 3 resources that I use, which is Google, textbook, and a dictionary, you could put on a projector Google the word energy, because you want to keep using that same example, so it's continuity. So you can show them that, and you're going to Google it, and then you would also be able to put on the DotCam. I describe this one here as have the students pull out their textbooks and say, okay class, we're going to do this one together. Let's find the definition of energy. So everyone turn to page blank. I don't know what textbook we'd be using, and that's where you'll find your glossary. Now skip past A, B, C, and D until you get to the letter E. And when everyone finds the word energy, point to it. And then for comprehensible input, you want to walk around and make sure that everyone is pointing and they also have the right answer. Then on the DotCam, you would also show it, point to it on the DotCam where you found energy. And then you could do the same thing for the dictionaries. Okay, so after you have done all these examples for the research, have the students work for a allotted time on the word study books, probably around 20-30 minutes, just so they're able to finish it. So you want to show them the example before they go break off into their groups. So, okay class, this is the example. We're going to use solar energy. So solar energy definition is energy given from the sun. So remember, let's see what page of content that solar energy is on. It is on page 11. So on page 11, I have my definition, solar energy, and then I drew my picture because the sun gives the energy for the plants to grow, and then you have to make sure you make that real world connection, so at the bottom, make sure you have your sentence. Flowers use the sun's energy to grow. So, like I said, you give them an allotted amount of time to get through that instruction. Like I said, 20-30 minutes. They're in groups of probably 4, and they are taking care of that. Like I said, 20-30 minutes. And when they're done, what you're going to do is they're going to get up and present those they're going to present those definitions as a group. So what you're going to want to do is, again, model that as well. It's really hard for me to go ahead and it would be the same thing. So you would get up and you would model the student saying, okay, this is my book. I had solar energy. Solar energy's definition is yada yada. This is my picture. And then this is my real world example. And then as those students are presenting, also on the DocCam, you want to have the sample book flipped, and you're writing as the teacher, you're writing the definition, the illustration, and the sentence so the other students can copy it. What would also be helpful is while the students are working in their groups, finishing their vocabulary words and their definitions, have the table of contents left up here for them to look at. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that one was real complicated. This one's not going to be as complicated. Okay, so before you move on to the forms of energy handout, I would show the YouTube clip, which doesn't seem to be working right now. Oh, there it goes.
Energy is the ability
of
to do
energy
work
that I
and
found,
cause
which
change.
you guys, I think, saw that in my lesson before, right? Okay, so I don't want to play the whole 2-minute video, but it's really cute, and it goes through all the forms of energy with all these little visuals and words that this person is drawing, so I thought it was really, really helpful. Okay, so, okay class, we're going to read this form of energy handout, and I've already handed it out to them. If you'd like to we're going to take turns reading each section together. If you want, you can raise your hand and volunteer to read. Make sure you read slow and speak up so that all of us can hear the information you're giving us. We will read all the potential energies first and then the kinetic energies. And the form of energy handout isn't my lesson, which you guys have, I believe, seen. And obviously the students, I'm going back. Obviously the students have this in front of you, and you as a teacher have this in front of you. I didn't do this, but here we go. Reflection for myself. I could definitely have the handout put in here for all of us to see. So, as they read the forms of energy, every time they get to one, you want to make sure you connect it with the picture. You also want to make sure it's the same picture that they're about to use in the matching game after this so they can recognize it. So, after a student reads the little excerpt on chemical energy, you're going to show the little miner, the coal miner. And then this goes on. After you hear the definition for mechanical energy, you'll show that the arrow, light is the sun, heat is the fire, sound is the waves, and electrical energy is the lightning bolt in the cloud. So then after that, you're going to move straight into the matching game. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and put you in groups of 2. You can either let them pick. I plan on teaching high school, but this is made for 5th graders, so I would probably have pre-put them in pairs. You're going to pass out Ziploc bags that have definitions in picture cards. So, all right, guys, get into your groups of 2 and then pass out your stuff. Okay, guys, take out the definition cards, and you also have a bag in your hand. Raise your hand and hold the definition cards up, and then raise your hand and hold the picture cards up. Okay, guys, let's do one together before you guys do the rest. Okay, so here would be the example. Okay, pretend this part is not here yet. All right, so let's do an example first. Okay, here's the definition. You're holding up the index card. You also could have it written on the board. Chemical energy, energy stored in the bonds of atoms and molecules. Does anyone know what picture goes with this one? And then wait and see if anyone raises their hand. And if a whole lot of them are raising their hand, pick one. If it's wrong, keep going until you get the correct answer. Someone says the coal miner. Great, awesome. You're going to make sure you get positive feedback, hold that little index card up showing that that's the coal miner, and then go ahead and clip those to the board so the students have an example to work on. Then, going back. They're going to go ahead and match the correct pictures with the correct definitions and term after you show them the example. So, okay, class, go ahead and finish the rest of the 5 terms and match them with the correct picture. I did put in my lesson that once they're finished, make sure you raise your hand and you need to go by and check and make sure they're correct. I did put that you could give a positive reinforcement at the end of that. Okay, guys, I know that was a little long, but that was my form of energy comprehensible input. A lot of mine I can go through real quick and tell you real quick because I have this in my lesson plan too. Real quick, I promise, what each one comprehensible input I use. So the word study book is going to be like modeling and gesturing. You're gesturing, you're pointing at the dictionary, pointing at the textbook. Modeling how to do the table of content, modeling how to do each page. And then this forms of energy handout is multimedia because you're giving them a multimedia YouTube video beforehand, and you're also giving them visuals with all the pictures. And then we're going on now. Come on. And then the forms of energy matching game is going to be modeling again, because you're modeling the matching and the students working together to create their own information. All right, guys, that was my lesson. I'm so sorry this is 10 minutes long. I'm so sorry, guys. But please give me some feedback. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye.